So there's a misconception as to what a business plan is, and things have changed over time. A business plan is effectively the roadmap for what you are doing as a company, what the problem is, what your solution is, how you implement the solution, how you operate the company, projections as to what you think you'll get in terms of sales and revenue and costs and profits down the line. So it used to be in the old days, if you were starting a company that required funding, you didn't have a company, you had to say, okay, here is the roadmap for what I'm doing. And you would take that and you would take that to a bank, or you would take that to an investor and say, here's the plan. Can you provide the funding to get this started? Because the company couldn't get started on its own. You needed to have all kinds of products and tools and services and so on and so forth. One of the things that has changed is that over the last 20, 30 years, we have had this explosion of technology. And now you can start a company for literally nothing. Not every company. You can't build a nuclear power plant for nothing. But for the kinds of companies, the high growth technology-based companies, there is so much available in terms of platforms and tools and open source and gig economy and everything else that you should be able to get something going if you have no money whatsoever. And so therefore, the business plan is not a financing doc. You don't say, here's what I plan to do, give me money. That doesn't work. Now it's, what have you done? Here's what I've done, give me money, number one. So therefore, a business plan, while in the old days was maybe written to get money, that's not true anymore. A business plan, however, is still very important for the founder because it's your roadmap. It shows you what you're going to do, where you're going, and how do you know where you're going to go if and how you're going to get there if you don't know where you're going, right? So it's a business plan is very much internal. It's an internal document for the founder, number one. But number two, the form of the business plan has changed. The business plan is no longer a 35 or 40 page single spaced typewritten thing about here's what you are going to do. Instead, there's now something called the lean business plan. And the guy who actually wrote the original great business planning software named Tim Berry, who wrote Business Plan Pro, which was the by far industry-leading software, and now their company is doing something called LivePlan, LIVEPLAN, liveplan.com, which will actually walk you through the whole process of doing it. And he has his own website called leanplan.com, which is totally free. He wrote a book about how lean business planning, which is available free online, absolutely great reading. And the point it makes is you no longer need a 40-page type detailed textual thing. A business plan now really is stuff like a business model canvas. It shows, so we're identifying the major issues, the major points over here, looking at the numbers. And so the baseline projections, what's your business model? How do your costs and revenues work and that kind of stuff. So yes, business plans are still very important, but they're not financing documents. They're internal documents. Instead, what an investor wants to see, or you're trying to match your thesis, what the company is doing to your thesis. And so when I talk to entrepreneurs about how you pitch, remember, an investor has a thesis, broad thesis, narrow thesis, but they know on some level what they want. And so, for example, I don't invest in things like gaming deals or beverage deals or, entertainment stuff. That's not what I do. Medical drug discovery, not what I do. They're not bad industries, not bad business. People make a lot of money there, but that's not what I invest in. So if you give me a new drug discovery, I'm just not going to invest in it. I don't care if it's a cure for cancer. That's not what I do. So therefore, you have to hit my thesis. Now, a company, on the other hand, is doing something. The company has a thesis as well, right? They are doing X, Y, or Z. And if they are a beverage company and I don't invest in beverage deals, then they're not going to turn around and say, oh, all of a sudden we're a SaaS company, right? So the goal for the company when they're raising funds is to try and identify investors whose thesis, at least generally, fits whatever it is you as the company are doing. And then in your presentation, in your pitch, you want to be as clear as possible about what you're doing and how it will work. And so then I, as an investor, say, oh, okay, this is in my thesis. This is in my wheelhouse. And I see what you're doing. I like what you're doing. That's what I'm investing in. And here's how I see you can make it work. And you don't need to have, 40 pages of business plan to do that. Instead, most investors can do a cursory look at something. It can tell you within one sentence if it's within their thesis, can tell you within, 5 slides if it's within their thesis and generally matches their idea of what a company should look like. And within, 10 to 20 slides can say, oh, this is a really interesting company. I get it. I know what they're doing. I like the background. I like their business. I like their thesis. Okay, 20 slides. I'm in if, right? So it's a yes, if. So with a 20 slide presentation, you can always get somebody, if they are the right investor, to say yes, if. Yes, I like what you're saying. And assuming if everything you're saying is true, and I can do diligence the customers and your sales and the product and everything else, then I would like to invest.